Success, it's the ultimate goal in modern life, the prize everyone seems to be racing for. But what if I told you that most people aren't truly chasing success? Instead, they're desperately running away from something far more paralyzing, the fear of failure, of being judged, of being invisible. This fear fuels an endless pursuit, one that feels urgent, but ultimately leaves you empty. A race with no finish line. Today, I want to expose the hidden trap that success has become, and more importantly, show you how to escape it. This isn't just philosophy for the sake of sounding wise. These are 5 practical principles, grounded in human nature and actionable from day one. Each principle comes with a clear, simple practice that you can apply immediately. And the last one, it's not just a mindset shift. It's a life reset. If you're ready, let's dive in. The illusion of public success, how to cultivate quiet power. Look around the digital world and what do you see? The flashy entrepreneur posting income proof, the influencer showcasing the newest gadget, the family with perfect smiles on a perfect vacation. It's everywhere. A constant performance of success. But here's the secret most overlooked: success doesn't need an audience. When you build your life solely for others to see, you become a performer, addicted to applause. Your value hinges on their approval, and that's a cage, not a throne. Real power grows quietly in the work done behind the scenes. The mastery built in silence, the resilience developed without fanfare. Practical step. Start earning your wins in private. Finish projects before you announce them. Build your skills before you broadcast them. Strengthen your health without posting gym selfies. Grow your wealth discreetly. You're not hiding. You're building an unshakable foundation. When you no longer need applause, people naturally respect your substance. The validation trap, why relying on approval diminishes you. Have you ever celebrated a personal achievement online, felt the rush of likes and comments only to wake up craving the next hit? This cycle isn't success. It's addiction. When your worth depends on others' approval, you surrender your power to a fickle crowd. True confidence is self-generated. Try this every morning. Ask yourself, what can I do today that I'll be proud of, even if no one else knows about it? Maybe it's reading a few pages of a meaningful book, fixing a small problem, or having an honest conversation with someone close. One private victory a day builds resilience against the need for external validation. Ironically, that's when people start truly noticing you, not because you perform, but because you're grounded. The identity crisis building worth beyond what you have. Walk into any social situation and the first questions usually are, what do you do? Where do you live? What do you drive? We've been conditioned to equate value with possessions and status. But possessions are fragile. They can be lost or taken away. Real identity is rooted in principles, values, and the quiet integrity you carry every day. Here's an exercise. Write down why you're proud of yourself without mentioning money, titles, or possessions. It might be because you keep your promises, protect your peace, or commit to learning daily. Repeat this as your daily anchor. When your self-worth is internal, you no longer bend to superficial judgments. You walk through life untouchable by shallow validation. The endless chase, how to stop running and start leading. Set a goal. Reach it. Feel good for a moment. Then, set a bigger goal. Chase it harder. This is the treadmill of modern success, a never-ending race fueled by dissatisfaction. The problem? You're chasing someone else's definition of success, a moving target designed to keep you wanting more. But what if you paused? Here's what to do. Once a week, carve out an hour with no agenda. No hustle, no goals. Just sit quietly. Ask yourself, if nothing changed in my life, could I still feel peace? What parts of my life feel forced or performative? Who am I trying to impress? And do they even care? This stillness reveals the noise beneath your restless striving. As you grow comfortable without chasing, your next moves become deliberate. You stop reacting and start choosing. That is true power. Redefining success, creating a life you don't have to perform for. Imagine the man with the impressive R sum, a life others envy, but inside feels hollow and fake. That's because he built success as a mask, not a reflection of his true self. The ultimate freedom is to stop deceiving yourself. Forget society's checklist. Write your own definition of success by answering these. What makes me proud of who I am becoming? What would I do even if no one ever noticed? What am I willing to lose approval for while keeping my self-respect? This becomes your personal success code. And here's the paradox. When you live by your own code, you become more powerful, more magnetic, not because you're trying to win a false game, but because you stopped playing it. 1. The illusion of public success, how to cultivate quiet power, expanded. In today's world, success has become a spectacle. Social media platforms amplify the loudest, brightest, and most curated versions of achievement. We see people posting about their luxury cars, their sprawling vacations, the milestones of income they claim to have reached, or the perfect moments spent with their families, often moments carefully arranged, just for the camera. This relentless display conditions us to believe that unless our success is visible, it's not real. The problem with this belief is that it disconnects us from the deeper, quieter reality of achievement. True success is a private matter before it ever becomes public. It is rooted in consistent effort, resilience, discipline, and the invisible sacrifices that no one sees. The car, or the vacation, or the flashy posts may be trophies, but they're trophies that say more about the audience's reaction than the substance behind them. When we chase visibility instead of building real foundations, we become performers trapped by the applause of others. Our focus shifts from progress to perception, from mastery to image. To break free, begin practicing silent building. For example, if you're working on a new business idea, resist the urge to announce it at the first spark of inspiration. Instead, invest your energy into developing the concept, testing it, and refining it until you have something truly valuable. This not only strengthens your product but also shields you from premature criticism and distractions. When you finally reveal your work, it carries weight because it's finished, not because it's in progress. Similarly, improving your health is not about showing your gym selfies or sharing your calorie counts. It's about cultivating habits that make you stronger and healthier inside, habits you maintain regardless of outside approval. When you train without needing others to notice, your discipline becomes authentic. You are no longer performing for validation, you're honoring your body and mind. Finances follow the same logic. Growing wealth silently, budgeting wisely, investing patiently, avoiding flashy purchases is often invisible to others, but it is powerfully liberating. It means you're not chasing status symbols but building real security. By embracing quiet power, you develop a mindset where recognition is a byproduct, not the goal. This mindset changes how people perceive you because authenticity and substance resonate deeper than any curated image. Respect follows effort and integrity, not just spectacle. The validation trap, why relying on approval diminishes you, expanded. Have you ever noticed how fleeting the satisfaction from external validation really is? You might post about a career milestone, a new project, or a personal achievement and feel an immediate rush from likes, comments, and shares. But that high is temporary. Soon, the novelty wears off, and you find yourself craving the next dose of approval. This endless cycle is more than a habit, it's an emotional addiction. When your self-worth depends on the reactions of others, you give away your power. You become a hostage to the crowd's opinions, susceptible to their changing moods and expectations. This external dependency weakens your sense of self and leaves you vulnerable to anxiety, disappointment, and burnout. The antidote lies in cultivating inner validation, Before you pick up your phone each day, pause and ask, what can I do today that will make me proud, even if no one else sees it? This question redirects your focus inward. It encourages you to find meaning in small, private victories that build your character and competence over time. These wins don't have to be grand gestures. Reading a few pages from a book that challenges your thinking, fixing a small but nagging problem in your work, or having a meaningful conversation with a loved one all count. The key is that these are acts of self-respect and growth that don't rely on applause. By accumulating these small, unseen victories, you develop a robust foundation of self-worth. Over time, you become less reactive to external noise. You build immunity to the highs and lows of social approval. Paradoxically, this quiet confidence draws genuine attention because it signals a person who is grounded, reliable, and self-directed. The identity crisis building worth beyond what you have expanded. Ask someone to introduce themselves, and very often their answer will start with their job title, their address, or the car they drive. Our culture conditions us to tie identity closely to possessions and social status. But this kind of identity is fragile because possessions can be lost, jobs can be taken away, and social approval can evaporate overnight. The real challenge is to build an identity anchored in values and principles, qualities that no one can take from you, and that remain constant regardless of external circumstances. Start by writing down why you are proud of yourself without referencing money, titles, followers, or possessions. What are the qualities you embody that you admire? Perhaps it's your honesty, your resilience, your dedication to improving every day, or your commitment to protecting your family's well-being. This simple exercise helps shift your focus inward. It reminds you that your worth is not in what you own, but in who you are becoming. When you internalize this truth, your presence changes. You walk with quiet confidence, speak with authenticity, and resist bending to the shallow validation others seek to impose. This shift doesn't mean you reject ambition or improvement. It means you pursue these things from a place of self-respect rather than insecurity. You stop measuring your value by things you can lose and start living in alignment with your core principles. The endless chase, how to stop running and start leading, expanded. The cycle of setting goals and chasing bigger and bigger achievements is a trap many fall into without realizing it. You hit one target and feel a rush, but soon the feeling fades, replaced by a nagging emptiness or anxiety. Then you set another goal, often bigger or more demanding, hoping it will bring lasting fulfillment. But it never does. This cycle isn't a bug of human nature, it's a feature designed into modern life. Constant dissatisfaction fuels consumerism, productivity obsession, and social comparison. It keeps you running on a treadmill without ever reaching the destination. To escape, you need to learn how to step off the treadmill, at least for a while. Set aside 1 hour a week for deliberate stillness. No goals, no hustle, no distractions. Just sit with yourself and ask some hard questions. If my life stayed exactly as it is right now, could I still be at peace? Which parts of my life feel forced or performative? Who am I trying to impress? And do they even care? This hour of stillness is not wasted time. It's a strategic pause that reveals where you're running from and what you're truly chasing. It reconnects you with your authentic self, uncluttered by societal expectations. The more comfortable you become with doing nothing for a while, the less reactive and frantic you feel. Your next moves become intentional choices rather than compulsive reactions. This clarity is a kind of power often overlooked in a culture obsessed with speed and visible success. Redefining success, creating a life you don't have to perform for, expanded. Imagine a man who ticks every box on society's checklist: a prestigious job, a big salary, a polished social media presence. On paper, he's a success, but inside, he feels empty, disconnected from the very life he's built. This dissonance happens because the success he's chasing is not aligned with his true self. He's wearing a mask, performing a role, living a story written by others. The ultimate act of freedom is to stop deceiving yourself, to pause and rewrite the narrative of what success means for you. Forget the world's checklist. Instead, answer these three questions deeply and honestly. What makes me proud of the person I'm becoming? What would I continue doing even if no one noticed? What am I willing to lose approval for while maintaining my self-respect? This becomes your success code, a personal compass that guides your decisions in business, relationships, and life. The irony is that when you live by your own code, you don't lose power, you gain it. You attract respect and influence not because you're chasing a false game, but because you're authentic and grounded. Final thoughts. Most people spend their lives chasing a version of success that isn't theirs, like running after a mirage in a desert. The harder they run, the farther it seems. But the reason they never catch it isn't because they're weak. It's because they never stop to ask the crucial question, who defined this success I'm chasing? When you reclaim that question, you take back your power. You stop playing a role written by the world and start writing your own story. You build silently, rooted in what truly matters. You stop sprinting for approval and instead move with focused, unstoppable intention. This isn't coldness or detachment. It's clarity, sovereignty, peace that comes not from external validation, but from knowing you are enough all along. So today, stop running after a story that's not your own. Start building a life that is quietly, patiently, powerfully. If this message speaks to you, share it. Write a comment below. Let's build a community of minds that don't break, grounded in truths that free us. Would you like me to continue expanding with additional examples, stories, or practical exercises to reach your full target length? Or do you want a version segmented into chapters with timestamps for your YouTube video?